2 days. I'm getting more and more empowered here. Well, I tell you what, for me, at the beginning it seemed like it was going to be 2 long days. It has zoomed past. I can hardly believe we're already at the closing plenary. I guess you feel the same as I, that it's been 2 incredibly inspiring days where we've all shared personal stories, skills, knowledge, hopes, tips about how to make this world a better place. I think we all feel that there's certainly a lot of us, a lot of women, who are strong and united. We're even stronger. I believe it's been a very intense 2 days, so much so that I actually woke up at 2:30 this morning and I couldn't get you out my heads. I was having flashbacks of the entire day, quotations people had said, tips they'd given, and it's just been a whirlwind, which I believe will stay with us for quite some time as we integrate everything that we've learned and the connections that we've made here. Towards creating a more sustainable, tolerant, and integrated world. That's a strong mission. We've been talking a lot about purpose, about values, about getting up in the morning, knowing where we're going, and that sounds like a very worthy goal for all of us here. For now, I would like to invite Dr. Harbeen Arora, Global Chairperson, All Ladies League, and Mrs. Sukai Ceesay, Netherlands Chairperson, to join me on stage and invite also our guests of honor to come and take a seat. Claudia Selli. Is she here? Megan Richards. And Mrs. Pamela Hack. Thank you. If you would like to take a seat, I shall first call on Dr. Harbeen Arora to say a few words.
Viola Edward as well.
And sorry, Our Lady, Mrs. Viola Edward. Would you please join us on stage? Oh, gosh, my clothes are falling off, sorry. It's the microphone, it's pulling all my clothes off. I shall not turn around. Help. This is pulling all my clothes off. I shall discreetly walk this way. Dr. Harbeen Arora. Sorry. Would like to share a few words with you. And I shall discreetly go to the background. I feel like a film star. Don't fall off the stage.
Hey, everyone. This has been so blissful. 2 days, and all of you who've come from so many different parts of the world. Yesterday, somebody surprised me, a dear friend who's been with us. She surprised me. Normally, people surprise you and say, hey, surprise, surprise, I was walking by, I thought I'll say hello. She flew in from Utah in the United States to say, hello, surprise, I'm here. That's the power of the feeling, of the vibe that we all feel here, that it just draws us. So our guests here, some of them who've left today because they had to do something else on a Saturday evening, that's fine, but they were here yesterday. People have flown in from Singapore, from Zimbabwe, from South Africa, from Cyprus, from really everywhere in the world. And my friend Sophia, who's come from Sweden, she was just telling me, how did you get so many women from different parts of the world like that? And I'm surprised myself. It's not me. It really isn't. I just started something with a very, I don't even know it's a pure purpose, but to me it's very sacred. It's bringing the balance back in our lives. The theme today of the closing plenary is towards a more integrated, tolerant, inclusive world, of which EU is a very big part, center of gravity in a way, in this part of the world. And it wouldn't really happen with the women in every part of the world leading the change. And when we come here, spend these 2 inspired days learning together, sharing, exchanging, and actually realizing how similar we are, how shared our aspirations are, how similar our challenges are, and how much We can learn from each other, where sisterhood is the only uniting ethos. We forget when we are in that room the identities that we normally operate from. What color am I? What country am I from? What ethnicity I come from? What language I speak? In that moment, in that hour, we become integrated, one, inclusive, excited, co-creative, working like a team. And isn't that an image of the world that we would like to have for ourselves and leave behind for our children? So it's possible. The challenge is having that feeling continue day after day as we go on with our lives, back into the societies, into the communities where we are there, and carry this blessed state of experience with us wherever we go, and be an embodiment of it, and be an exemplar of it, and be a light of it. And it's not much to ask, because you're not asking yourself to be anything that you're not. You're simply motivating and inspiring yourself to reveal your truest essence, which is inclusive, which responds to that all that is there in the universe. And here you are to reclaim all of it. All of humanity belongs to us. All of this universe belongs to us. And we all are going to walk on this earth like the queens that we were meant to be. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. People tell me that they have received a lot from here, and that I have given as if something from myself. I'm sure they receive it from me, but let me tell you in all honesty and integrity, I cannot give what I do not receive. And I receive it all so much from each one of you who's given the sacrifice of their time, their energy, their presence here. I know you could have done something else with your time, but you chose to be here with all of us because you believe, you want to make a difference. And I'm eternally, really, this is not just a word, I feel very deeply, I am most grateful for the gift of that belief and that faith and that trust that you have invested in the cause that we all stand for. And I am so emboldened and enriched by it. And I was sharing with somebody that there are moments I also go through my moments of self-doubt, and I wonder, what am I doing and why am I doing? It does take a lot to sometimes keep it all going and keep it all together. But it is moments like these 2 precious days with each one of you. And so much I have received. I have some very moving stories to share whenever I get the time. But all I can say is I'm going back again, committed exponentially more. Not 1 time, not twice, not 3 times. It feels infinite right now. It feels I can go on forever. It feels I was born for this. And I have to thank you all for giving me the gift of this feeling right now. So thank you all. When I say all of us, all ladies league, it really, it's my belief, I truly believe it from the core of my heart, that there is greatness in all of us. It's like a seed. Every seed has the potential in it to emerge into, to blossom into the tree, the plant, the flower it was meant to be. So each one over here, all of us, and all we are doing over here is creating a nurturing space that the greatness in you, the light in you, the purpose that you are here for can emerge. And we are here to create a nourishing, nurturing, inspiring, wise space for all of that to reveal and grow and share its wisdom with the rest of us. So for me, I really don't know the key to a better world, except I know it starts with me, and it starts with each one of you. Thank you so much for being here, and our closing plenary shall begin now. Thank you.
Thank you, Harbeen. You will agree with me, a most beautiful woman, both inside and out. I would like to ask our guests of honor here to share a few words with us. I would like to ask Mrs. Claudia Selli, EU Affairs Director at AT&T Belgium.
First of all, thank you very much for having me here. It's a wonderful initiative, and I have been learning a lot from this. While I was preparing for this closing plenary, I was thinking about a major element which is really enabling, which is technology. And I was thinking, 140 years ago, while the first words that were transmitted over the phone successfully by Graham Bell were, "Mr. Watson, come here, I want to see you." And 140 years afterwards, technologies has changed dramatically, and also it's touching everywhere. It's changing our life, the way we work, the way we do business, but the underlying network has remained the same, which is the human factor. In fact, we are still connected through technology, and what we are doing, for example, at AT&T is an initiative which is Connect to Good, and it's based on 3 pillars, which is people, planet, and possibilities. So for people, for example, there are plenty of initiatives that we are doing to save life, and one of our big campaigns is It Can Wait, Don't Text While Driving, for example. And also technologies enable really to include diversity and also empower women, or even through education, because we are giving teachers a lot of digital connection to be able and improve the way of learning, but also we are avoiding that a lot of people drop off the school. And last but not least, there are a lot of mentoring programs, for example, to show women how the technology world functions, because this is maybe a motivating factor for them to study and to see that you can make it through some of our leaders there. And finally, the planet, because through technology you can certainly live and create a better world. For example, through savings emissions, or even controlling the water, or plenty of these occasions. So it's really an enabling factor to create a better and more integrated world. That's it for me.
Thank you very much. Could I now please ask Mrs. Megan Richards, Principal Advisor at the European Commission, to join us?
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be in The Hague, and in particular at this kind of conference. It's nice to be able to talk about creating an integrated and more tolerant and sustainable world. This is what we're trying to do every day, everywhere. But I think being in The Hague is somewhere that is an inspiration to all of us, because as you've probably seen, those of you who've been here more than half an hour, as I have, you've seen the International Court of Justice, which was established here more than 70 years ago. It works on a whole series of important treaties and laws, but one of the most important aspects it also has to look at is something that we call general principles of international law. And this is something that's not really written down, and I think it's something that is really very important. It reflects the kinds of basic principles that all humanity recognize. And of course, we have something else which is next year going to be also 70 years old, and that's the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which of course is written down and reflects principles that were developed by people from all around the world, a very diverse group of people from many different countries who could recognize that we have common interests and common values and common principles that we all apply. So I think, first of all, being in The Hague is something that should inspire you. I'm sure it has. I'm sure, from what I hear, you've all been an inspiration to each other. And I work in the European Commission, which is the executive arm of the European Union, as you know. And the European Union, as many other organizations these days, are really under pressure. You know, we've had a very unfortunate vote in the United Kingdom recently, where a majority of people who voted said that they wanted to leave the European Union. We continue to believe that the European Union is very important. Those of you who've heard Mrs. May speak have heard her say she still thinks the European Union is important, and of course will still be an important ally and partner with the United Kingdom when it leaves. But we think that now is really a time to reinforce those principles and values that many of us have worked for many years to instill and ensure that they continue forward. That doesn't mean that everyone has to be a member of the European Union, don't get me wrong, or that the European Union is perfect. Believe me, there are lots of problems in the European Union, as there are everywhere. If someone can show me a perfect institution or organization, then you really deserve a Nobel Prize. But I think the values and the principles that underlie the European Union are really very important. And they are reflected also in the Convention on Human Rights, which come from the Universal Declaration on Human Rights. And as Claudia said, one thing that I wanted to emphasize in this room is the importance of communication. And Claudia talked about telephones and the way in which the first telephones began to work. But now we have something even more dramatic and impressive, and that's the internet and mobile telephony. And these aspects have really been dramatically important to women in particular, to everyone, of course. But I think many, many women have really been able to benefit even more so from these new means of communication, to be able to see what other people are doing in other countries, to be able to check where your children are and to make sure that they're safe, to be able to have access to market prices if you're in a rural village in Africa, to be able to have access to healthcare and health information if you're in a small, not even a village, perhaps in India or wherever it might be. So these new technologies, although they have and will continue to change the way in which we live and mean that we have to learn new skills and adapt and change and take on new challenges, have also been very enabling for everyone around the world. But I think the role and importance for women has been particularly important. So I don't want to talk too long, but because apparently we're going to have an exchange not only between us but also with you. But I wanted to say a little bit about what we call the digital single market in the European Union as well. And this is to try to make sure that the digital economy and society works on an even better scale and manner within Europe, which isn't to mean that it shouldn't apply also outside Europe. If you can have better e-commerce within Europe, or better exchange of information, or better use of the entire single market in Europe, this means that Europe will also be a much better trading partner, a much better global partner with the rest of the world as well. So we'll have an occasion to talk more about this, but I'm really delighted to be here and I look forward to the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I call now on Mrs. Pamela Hack, Acting Consul General at the US Consulate General in Amsterdam.
Hey, hello again. What wonderful energy in this room, isn't it amazing? Thank you for having me. I heard somewhere, once upon a time, that the first 25 countries you visit, you notice right away everything that's different. And then the next 25 countries you visit, you notice everything that's the same. So think about it. My first international trip, other than Mexico or Canada, was to Switzerland. It was when I was 21 years old. I had planned to backpack through Europe after college, and unfortunately my father passed away and was not able to do that. But right after he passed away, my mom said, of all things, to my brother and me, because it was right before Christmas, let's go to Switzerland and learn to ski. And I'm like, oh, okay. So not a bad first introduction to another country, but it was still so different from me. I was taking pictures of the Mercedes trash trucks, because the only Mercedes we have in the U.S. are luxury automobiles. And taking pictures of bathroom stalls because they close all the way, and it's like your own private closet. And I didn't understand why you had to pay to go to the bathroom, because in the U.S. it's free. And they bring dogs into restaurants. So, I mean, these are little things, but they're things that I noticed that were different. My first international assignment when I switched careers going on 14 years ago was to Suriname. And I now have a husband from there. But there were different things there definitely too. They drive on the wrong side of the road. Of course, I say the wrong, not the right side. It's the left side, but it's the wrong side to me. They served chicken sandwiches or a certain thing they call like pomme and certain dishes with bones in it. And us Americans could never get over, like, you're eating something and suddenly you chomp on a bone. Very different than what we're used to. Many of the roads were not paved. There were no ATM machines or cash machines or movie theaters. And the flights arrived in the middle of the night. Of course, now I know a lot of that's common in a lot of places in the world. And then one of my next assignments was to Morocco, to Casablanca. I was there after 9/11. But I was in the United States on 9/11. And in the United States, the press was pretty mean. So by the time I arrived in Morocco, to me, Al Jazeera, the news channel that is now, I think, my favorite news channel, it was pretty much the equivalent of Al-Qaeda in my mind. I didn't know anything different. I'd never been awakened early in the morning by a call to prayer. The thought of fasting every day for a month was something I'd never heard of. But now, fast forward many years later, I've probably been to about 60 different countries. I mentioned my husband's from Suriname, but Suriname is now, it's really my adopted home. My husband and I just celebrated 10 years of marriage. My best friends are Surinamese, and for me, going back there is very much like going home. But it's still, I still remember the first time that I was there. And believe me, they have lots of ATM cash machines and movie theaters and McDonald's and Burger Kings and Pizza Huts and all of that now. In Morocco, it really changed my world. Some of my best friends to this day, and more every day, are Muslim. And I couldn't even imagine that before I went there. The call to prayer is seriously one of my favorite sounds in the whole world. One of my favorite memories is when I was in Cairo for a conference, and I was at the Sofitel at a very high floor, and of course jet lagged. And so I had my window open, and suddenly I just, like, the whole city was enveloped by the sound. It was, probably dozens and dozens, if not 100 different mosques, and it was one of the most beautiful sounds I've ever heard. Really, really love it. And then, I mentioned fasting. So after seeing all my colleagues do that, my first year in Morocco, I joined them the second year. And I found it a very amazing and spiritual experience. Although I do have to tell you that it was a very difficult thing for me to go to the hammam, where you sweat quite a bit. I came home to my kitchen, I was sitting there with a cold glass of water, waiting for the call to prayer because I was so thirsty. And that was one thing I never expected until I did it myself, was that when you fast, you don't get hungry, you get thirsty. So anyway, yeah, you do really notice things that are different, but you really notice the things that are the same, I think, after a while. We all celebrate the birth of a baby, don't we, everywhere in the world. And we mourn the loss of our loved ones when our parent dies, or a brother, or a dear friend. We celebrate at weddings everywhere. We join together at feasts and holidays and enjoy good food and drink and music and dancing. We all feel love and different feelings and fall in love, and feel hope and feel sadness, anxious. We all have feelings. We're all proud of the accomplishments of our children and our grandchildren, for some of us. And we all get angry at injustice in the world. So I would just like to urge you all to remember, and this amazing group of people here, that even though we can all continue to easily notice how we are different by our skin color, our religion, our sexual orientation, our language or our accent, our customs, our dress, our way of life, so many ways, that we're all human beings, and we really are all the same. And to this crowd in particular, we're all strong, amazing, inspiring women. So thank you very much for letting me join you today.
Thank you. Wonderful. Thank you for that, Pamela. And actually, I mean, you haven't been in this room, but I must admit, the themes that we've had in this room over the last 2 days tie in exactly to what you've said about embracing the differences. We don't all have to become one. We embrace them. We're united in our diversity, to not be scared of the differences. We've talked about security threats and about generalizing and about prejudice. So it's very much, you've actually summarized wonderfully lots of the things we have been talking about this week. Yes. I believe the time has come to present a few awards. I don't know, do you want to actually speak? Yes? Oh, Viola would like to speak. Indeed, I was being kind to you, thinking you might not want to speak.
So I want to present a superwoman here who really taught us a lot of things. She fell yesterday. She tripped when she was coming down the stairs from the parallel sessions. And Viola's been with me in preparing for this conference, recommending more soulful people to join in because we are particular about the reference and who comes in. And she's been so enthusiastic for this conference, for the London one that we are going to. And the Cyprus one, she lives in Cyprus, she's from Venezuela, and we are organizing one in Cyprus in October. So we're all very excited and working together. And she was here yesterday, and she was rushed in emergency to the hospital. And this brave woman, I called her yesterday night. They'd done a CT scan, and you can see her wrist is plastered. And there's also a little fracture here.
We'll see.
She's fine. She says she got discharged, and she came straight here. She says, I missed my session.
Yeah.
And I told her, no, you did not miss your session. Here you are, Viola.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, I guess I'll see most of you in London, so we'll do double session there. I wanted to talk about optimizing the feminine capital. And I wanted to talk about these, I was in this session about international law for women. And I was saying, law? Then I remember that in my first book, I talk a lot about the personal law. That is the most difficult law to get out of it. That law that put us back, that law that make us sometimes feel not good enough. And doesn't matter how many laws support us in the outside, if we didn't heal that first law that we acquired during our childhood or during those changes that we had in life, the laws in the outside will help us socially, maybe will help us to increase our salaries, will help us to have some more benefits. But I am a psychotherapist, and for 23 years now, I'm working with women and with couples. And I still see there is a lot of things to do in that inner law that we call the very personal law that we accumulate in some moment about I'm not good enough, I'm not worth it enough, I don't fit. People like me who we were born already being migrant. I was born in Kirkuk, Iraq, but in a family of Assyrian, they call the Ashuris. And already when we were very small, I was hearing, we're not Arab, we're Ashuri. So we already were migrant. Then my mom is Lebanese at the age of 5, emigrating to Lebanon and learn another language and meeting other families and going into a system of school. And then just before the Lebanese war, full emigration to Venezuela, which is a fantastic country, beautiful weather, amazing color. But for somebody at 13 with all these changes, it was quite dramatic. But you know, I think South America taught me a lot as a woman. I have never felt excluded as a woman for any job, for any place, for any study, never, as foreigner or as a woman. So I grew up with a woman who was a widow and who has 2 women daughters. And I always saw that women, we can do whatever we want, whatever we decide, we're survivor. And for me, it has been a journey to understand how much in the world where I was born and in the world that I've been working in, so many women are still detained or retained of enjoying fully their potential. So this is my job about accompanying women all over the world, wherever I can, to reach that potential through their quality, following their values, their core values and principles, and always making meaning of their life wherever we are in the world. And when I was invited to be in the Women Economic Forum, my heart could not be more joyful than that. Exactly what I believe in, a group of women and men going further. So I'm sure you know about this African proverb who said, if you want to go fast, you go alone. And if you want to go further, you go together. And definitely, I want to go further with all of you. So see you in London, and I hope to see you all in Cyprus. Now I live in Cyprus. So destinies are like this. Doesn't matter where we were born. Doesn't matter. I met a British man in Spain. And then he said in some moment, I was born in Cyprus, and my dream is to go back there. So here back into Middle East again, and into a country, an island with difficulties, a lot of difficulties. But you know what? Doesn't matter where we are. We take that big heart with us, and whatever we have accumulated through our life, and we do our best wherever we are, and together much better. Thank you very much for this space, and thank you very much for all what you have done. See you soon.
Beautiful words. We wouldn't have wanted to miss that, so thank you for coming back. I would now like to ask Harbeen and Sukai to come and present our awards. These are iconic leaders creating a better world for all. This is Claudia Selli. Oh, yeah. Mrs. Megan Richards. Yes? We have already had the privilege of handing Mrs. Hack her award. Yesterday, indeed, another round of applause, though, however. It was deserved yesterday and still deserved now. And last but not least, for our superwoman, Mrs. Viola Edwards. I would now like to call on Mrs. Sukai Ceesay, Chairperson for All Ladies League, the Netherlands, for her vote of thanks.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. This event is amazing. It's very exciting to be around women who create something. Many people who know me as a person who likes to stay in the back. And I push other people forward. And when I became part of All Ladies League, happened because I believe in energy. Anybody who met me would know that they will always talk to me, and I always respond in energy. And the last time I became part of All Ladies League, I met so many amazing people, and then I was thinking, what do you do with this? You go to conferences like this, you're bombarded with a lot of positive energy, you're bombarded with a lot of creators, you're bombarded with a lot of business owners. And then you tell yourself, when I go home and then I sleep, what do I make of the energy? So imagine it is physical because we are all looking at each other. I'm a believer in things that you can touch, but also things that you cannot explain. It sounds weird, but this is what we have. So I will give you things in stories. I started a company for bringing emotional intelligence. This is not a pitch or telling you about my business, but there is a connection in all of this. When I started it, I was still working in my corporate job. And I was thinking, what do you do with this? And I love my job. I'm an engineer. And then I talked to my boss about this new idea that I have that I've always been fascinated since I was 13. I knew what it was in my head, but I just couldn't say it. Went to college, thought I was interested in psychology, but it's not psychology. So I continued on engineering. But then when I finally talked to my boss to do this business, he said, as long as you're happy with what you're doing, and we're happy, you should do whatever you're doing. So I decided, don't wait until you retire to do something good. Do it while you have energy. Do it while you have time. Because if you wait until later and you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, then what happens to the idea, what happens to the energy that was given to you as a gift? And that gift is that connection and the energy that you pass on to the next person that you will meet, that you will talk to, that you will encounter without even knowing you meet them, but the energy is transferred to them. So when I started the emotional intelligence business, the first school was in the city that I was in. I went to India. I didn't know anyone. And the people that I launched the event for the EQ, they heard about World Women Economic Forum. She was looking for people, and then one thing leads to another. I get an invitation. I go. I get excited about all of these things. I don't know what to do with all the energy, but I brought it home. We talked about, what do you do with this? I said, well, we don't have this in the Netherlands, but I'll see what to do. And the things she told me created today. But what she said then, I didn't know what it meant, was, look, I started this. I knew what I was thinking. And I know exactly that I wanted to connect to women. Whatever happened with the minds of people who join these organizations at the conferences, the next is yours. My job is done, but wherever else it goes, they take the beacon. So in the flight, I'm thinking, okay, that's good, nice. She's a very good, inspirational person. And then by the time I arrived here, and that was May, in June, we launched All Ladies League. In June. And then we were thinking during the launch, what do you do with all of this energy from one conversation to another? Women Economic Forum for January was born at that same time, at another kitchen table. That my grandmother always said, everything starts at the kitchen table. But again, you're moving an energy from India. Imagine I'm just doing my work at a school. They suggested get a speaker. Then I go to speak, get some award. All Ladies League comes here. This is not my baby. The reason I'm talking about this and energy is because I had 3 companies. I wasn't sure what I was doing with philanthropy, with giving positivity and doing other things, but I knew that the work that I had, the companies that I have, they are a very good synergy of positive and negative. I believe in engineering, so positives and negatives, pluses and minuses, yin and yang. So they give me something to give back to the world and also a means to make money. But with this, it is my absolute love for doing great things for women and that I had strong women in my life to do something. So today, what I want to do in this vote of thanks, and because it's been inspired by the energy in the Netherlands, I have met so many amazing women that I invite to come here to be speakers, and they said, nobody wants to hear me. What do I have to tell somebody else? And I look at them, I said, you created a company. you're an executive in a company, you're a diplomat, you are a city official. You do all these great things. If you had nothing, you will not do what you're doing for me to be interested. So therefore, there is something you can tell somebody else. And that reason is the reason why you give your energy to another person. So today, I would like to do something that I haven't seen here, but I want to start that energy of giving. This dress I'm wearing has been decided by Dari Abdul. Okay, Dari. Please stand up. He designed this. The reason I decided to wear this is because the moment I saw it, it was at a different event, and that was not what I was looking for. And the way I described it as feminine yet masculine, because it has a military inspiration to it, and I saw it. And when I said it, and the femininity of it, he says, oh, that's what I was thinking when I designed this. So you connect with somebody with your energy. So I want to wear this because he's an up-and-coming guy. He's not Gucci. I love Gucci, but this is how you become Gucci. So one thing that I have noticed here is when you tell somebody to help your event, when you tell somebody to promote something, when you tell somebody, I'm doing great things, oh, maybe you should share other people, they tell you, I am doing something else. And, oh, I know if I do this for you, it means that you're going to get promoted and my lights is going to be dim, is going to get dim. It doesn't happen this way. Just promote anyway. You see a person in the boardroom who is not being listened to, their idea is good, the boss does not listen, you repeat it so the boss hears it. You get into the elevator, everybody looks away, and somebody's wearing something nice, the perfume is good, you compliment it. A person has a business, and nobody is buying something, and you have money in your pocket, you buy one and give it as a gift to somebody else. I had no idea why Harbeen, her energy touched my energy. One thing I knew is I didn't have an extra space on my plate, but I knew that I wanted to be part of it. So many people told me, you have a business, what are you going to do with that? I am so lucky to have people in my business that I hired who says, you focus on this new thing you're starting in the Netherlands, and we'll see where it goes, but now do it, and then whatever happens. So I am opening, when we finish here, go sign up in the registration desk for whatever you want to do in All Ladies League Netherlands. This is not a one-woman show. It cannot be. It will not be. So if you live in Cyprus, I will knock on your door. If you live in Timbuktu, I'll knock on your door. If you live in Iceland, I'll knock on your door. So we can do this again. It's not my project. This is her thing, but I want to take energies. No, she's the mother, but there are different babies in 400 cities. The reason, yes. No. I think it's important that you support someone, but it's absolutely important to support a woman's cause, because the woman's cause is not a one-leg table. It's a four-legged table. Sometimes it's an octopus. Whatever you can do, do it for another person. Don't expect me to send you something because you help me with anything. Do it because you want to. The next person is Yolanda Jimenez. She created this. I saw it. It's a shell. And as an artist, I draw, and of course with the engineering, and it struck me. And I said, this is amazing. And then happens to be that it was created by women from Philippines that are in partnership with her, and the revenue of the bags go to their education. As an artist, I like the work. As a person who loves nature, you're blending beauty and nature, and now you're making a business and you're supporting other people. It doesn't cost me anything to wear this. And it doesn't cost me anything to tell you to go look at these two amazing designers. Look at this. They came together, and I did not even plan it.
Yeah.
So if you're in a boardroom and there's a meeting and the boss thinks somebody's presentation stinks and you don't think it stinks, you said, I think this was nice. Bring out the one point that you like about it. If there is a promotion and you're in HR and you believe somebody who may bring a fresh breath of air into the company is worth it, show them a chance. If you own a business and you want an intern to have a new opportunity at something, give them the chance. If you also believe that there is a person out there that your investment will support, do it because it's the right thing to do, not because you're going to get something out of it. And I am in this not because of glory, not because, oh, you know, I have another business that I created and I want to hang on somebody's coattail. I believe in Harbeen, and I believe in what she started, and I believe in all the other sister cities that are doing their All Ladies League. And I would love for somebody to say, okay, stand back in the curtain like you love to do, and let me be the face of All Ladies League in the Netherlands. It's fine as long as we do great things and we support each other. Be a champion for somebody else.
We're just having a little whispering over here in the corner. Just little girls whispering in the corner. I think we'll do that afterwards. I think we need to take the opportunity here of having two wonderful ladies with a lot of food for thought. And I believe there are some questions that you would like to share also with the audience. I'm talking about Mrs. Claudia Selli and Megan Richards. It would be a shame to not make the most of your presence here. Yes. Q&A? Yeah? Yeah. Okay, let's do a Q&A. Any? Yep. Is that, sorry, I was just told what to do. Yes. Questions from the audience, please. Of course, now they're totally confused what the questions are about. So. Okay.
I just have one thing to say very quickly, and this is to Ms. Hack. As an American who lives here in the Netherlands, I very much value your comments today representing our country. It means everything to our Americans. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you very much. I just couldn't resist it by saying to Sukai, we all went to India together in May, and I just feel so much hopeless that you have achieved so much in bringing us all here together. You know, and I think that energy that's come from Dr. Harbeen is flowing so fast in the whole world that when I talk about her or say anything about her, I've got tears filling my eyes. Because if every woman can just do 1% or even less than 1% of what you're doing, there will be peace in the whole world. Because I know that all the women, because I know that it's women who holds the world. Unfortunately, for one reason or the other, we are missing the point. And we are not allowing ourselves to be sisters. Let us use the example that we've had here. And let us go forward with it. Because we are the only one that's going to solve the world. And if we don't do that, we'll have a question to answer to the Almighty. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, I actually have a question to Megan. This whole gathering was organized from the idea of reinventing the EU. And and I felt like before I came to this gathering, I couldn't quite see how that would be. But I did find, attending different sessions we had, many perspectives actually came in about how that, about the different ingredients that could bring that to bear. What I do feel is that it's a very important time for the EU. And I know, it started many years ago with very particular values and principles. And it seems almost like we need to refine them. And I would like to ask you, what do you see? Are those principles and values, like, if you look today, from where you are? And, yeah.
Keep us fit.
Well, now you put me on the spot, because I'm going to have to recite all the principles and values of the European Union, which you don't want to hear, don't worry. No, but those principles and values, and that was the point I was trying to make when I made my little presentation, those are universal. They're not specific and unique to the European Union. They're principles that relate to freedom of expression, freedom of movement. We have special freedoms, of course, in the European Union relating to freedom of movement, for example, capital and goods. And this is part of the single market. And that principle and value, I think, is really important, that Europeans can all work together. Europeans are not colored or uni-faith or unisex or anything else. They are very diverse. And I think that the fact that they have been able to expand and grow and maintain so far, let's hope that it continues, these basic principles and basic values has been really very profound and very inspiring to people around the world. It's the biggest trading bloc in the world. It's the biggest economy in the world. And of course, we see some fissures now in the unity of the Union. First of all, with Brexit, but we see the rise of populist movements in other countries. And it's normal that in a society or an economy where some people are benefiting very greatly and others are not, and things are changing. We've talked about technology. There are huge, dramatic changes that are taking place in technology. Jobs are being lost because of technology, but many more jobs are being made. And we have to retrain and adapt and adjust. And those are some of the things that I think we all have a challenge ahead of us to make sure that we stick together and draw together and expand those important principles around the world and join other parts of the world together to make sure that those principles continue. So I'm sure there are lots of other ideas and questions.
Thank you. I thank you for coming all the way from Brussels to here. I know, but still. But thank you really for being here. My question is, if you had a wish list, and not a very tall wish list, just one thing maybe. I have a lot of friends in different countries in the EU, and I've heard a lot of different things about what women would want to step up and manifest the vision of Europe as they have, or like you said, universally the world as they have, the community that they live in. What would in your wish list, that one thing be that you would want the women in the EU to have?
Well, I would like the women in the EU to make sure that we continue another 70 years of peace. None of us want our children, our brothers, our sisters to die. That would be my one wish.
Thank you very much. More questions?
Hello, how are you? Dr. Harbeen, I just want to say this conference is so amazing, bringing women from all around the world to connect with one another. The sessions were so electrifying, and women were connecting and hugging and handing each other cards and setting up dinner dates, lunch dates. I really want to thank you. I flew in from Brazil. I speak... right. I mean, I'm from America, but I was speaking in Brazil, and I had to make this conference because when I met you, you were infectious. And I just want to say, I am pledging to be a part of this. I have over 350,000 followers, and I will make sure women from America will come here and celebrate women from the EU, Africa, everywhere, Asia. I just think this is so beautiful. I'm so touched, and I thank you. I wanted to say thank you to everyone.
Any other questions?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, and I thank you for organizing a fantastic event. All these comments my sister have said, I fully support them. But also what surprised me, I come from the UN, and I'm more used to technical meetings to discuss gender and policy. So it was very good to hear this other side of it, inspiration, self-leadership, and management. What I wanted to ask Megan, if she can make a comment, we know that the EU is going to reinvent itself, and there are opportunities maybe to change things. And I was wondering, we have seen that about 2 million women march around the world. And I'm wondering, what can we do now when EU is trying to reconstruct itself as women to come together to make sure that there are more women in the parliaments and they are in Europe, and there are more women included in gender, making financial decisions and making political decisions. As you said, we don't want another war. So if there's something we can do as women to move this forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'll come back to what I was saying as well, and that what Claudia was mentioning too. I think communication is one of the most important things. Of course, everyone has the right to march and to demonstrate and to associate. There's no question, and this is important, and it shows strength, and it makes people feel better. And it brings attention to politicians. But I think communicating and discussing and making sure people go out to vote, and that your neighbor votes when they're supposed to vote. In some countries, the country I live in, you are obliged to vote. If you don't vote, you get a fine. But that's not the case in most countries. And we've seen voter apathy. So if we want things to change, we have to get out and vote. And who wants basic principles and basic values and common good to continue? I suppose all of you do, from what I hear you do. And these are ways in which we can ensure that the right politicians are in the parliaments, that people do as we want them to do. So I think one of the most important things is getting out the vote. And how can you get out the vote? As I said, speak to your neighbor. But by using modern communication techniques, you can have a social media site, you can have a blog, you can make sure people understand and see the issues that you think are important, and that you can pass those messages much further than just your local community and beyond. So that's one way of doing it. There are lots of others. But I don't want to dominate the discussion here because I think there are probably lots of other questions.
Thank you very much. Should we take... I'm afraid we will have only room for one more question. Thank you. Over there. Yeah.
Good afternoon and thank you. Dr. Arora, I fell in love with this project before I met you. They say that it takes very little effort for a candle to light other candles. And you have lit a candle in my heart and in so many women's hearts. I think we have an opportunity here with what you've started. I'm living in the United States. I'm from Zimbabwe originally. And before the elections, I was scared. I fell asleep and didn't want to wake up to the results. And I felt like I woke up in a nightmare. Now, we've talked about the march. What are we going to do afterwards? There was a woman who was here yesterday who started an organization for the 8th of March. She started it last year. Please go on Facebook, connect to her page. And let's not let this event stop us from taking this further. They say one woman knows at least 250 other women. Spread this. and it is your flame that caught me. So I'm taking this event to New Mexico, USA. If anybody would like to come, can I have a show of hands? I'm taking this event to New Zealand, to Australia, and to Grenada.
Ooh.
We have started something here, so thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Ooh, this is very far away suddenly. Before we go on to the awards, the All Ladies League would like to publicly acknowledge two gentlemen here, and I'm asking you for a round of applause for them. One is Mr. Anton Phillips, who came all the way back for us here today. Thank you very much. Mr. Phillips, where are you? Thank you. And the other is Mr. Ram Lal, former MP and city mayor. Mr. Ram Lal, where are you? Right. I would now like to keep Mrs. Sukai Ceesay and Ms. Dr. Arora, and I would like to invite our other guests to exit from the left, please. I'm like a police agent now. You exit from the left. Yes. Is that yours? I was trying to work out whose it was. Right. And the rest of us, oh yes, perhaps I wait, sorry, are going to move on to the awards ceremony. Yes. The rest of us are going to move on to the awards ceremony before we go on to the entertainment part of the program. The All Ladies League has two wonderful awards that they bestow. Woman of the Decade in Business and Leadership. I would like to call to come and collect her award for Woman of the Decade in Business and Leadership, Mrs. Andrea Pfundmeier, CEO Secomba Box Crypta. Is she here? I don't know if they're there. Oh, okay, right. Is she here? Pardon, all of them? What? Okay, right. Then I would like to ask to join us on stage. So Mrs. Andrea Pfundmeier, Mrs. Emmanuel Winn, Gertrude Mace, Gulnaz Kutsaninova, excuse me, Urska Sersen, Susa Keksmar, Jenna Elvin, and Dr. Nora Kaldi. It's quite possible I've mispronounced your name. Any others? Have I mispronounced any? Yes, ma'am. I asked her up? No.
Let's have these as well on the stage because just a few of them.
Right. I would also like to invite to join us on the stage the women who have been awarded Iconic Women Creating a Better World for All. Bershan Shaw, Dr. Kruti Parekh, Judith Joan Walker, Laure Kaltenbach, Pascal Joannin, Sophia Falk, Wendy Mackey-Jones, Adina Joanna Valian, Mary Jo DeLeu, Sangeeta Nambiar, Fatima Rumate, Ebere Akadiri, sorry. Diana Skelton, and Tagreed Nafesi. Okay, then I have the problem with that. Well done, come on up.
What we'll do, we'll have 2 minutes with each of the awardees here. We were earlier supposed to do one set of awards first and then the second set of awards, but in the interest of time, we're going to do them together, and I need your help in this. So we're just going to go and have each of you speak for 2 minutes, and then at the end, we will do the award ceremony with all of you. So may I start with Andrea van Meyer, if she's here? Emmanuelle Venn, if she's here? Okay. Gertrude Mache, yes, she's here. CEO of African Thrive Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome her as the Woman of the Decade in Business and Leadership.
Woo! Thank you. I always dreamed to speak in The Hague because of what it stands for in the world. A city of peace and a city of justice. And especially because I come from Africa, I know that what's happened today, for me, is an example for every little African girl to dream, and to dream big. Because dreams do come true. And if you can see it in your mind, you can turn anything into reality. So I've used my voice to go around the world to stand and speak on behalf of the women from the villages I come from. The women would never have the privilege to stand on this stage and speak. I stand in the world and speak as the voice for the children of Africa. In particular, the children who have been orphaned by HIV and AIDS. And as African women, we can't do it alone. Zimbabwe has got 1.1 million orphaned children. Our population is 14 million. So if any of you are inspired to come on board to help, I'm trying to build a clinic this year. Because of the regime, we have been blocked from getting the free ARV drugs that are 40 kilometers away. It costs $2 to get there. The HIV-positive moms cannot safely breastfeed their children because the virus is jumping from mother to child. They can't safely have a natural delivery as well. So I'm trying to build a clinic, and if anybody is inspired to come on board and help me in some way, I've got a fantastic project to do that. So I thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak today. Thank you.
Is Gulnaz Kushaninova with us? Is Urska Streshen with us? Is Zusa Kechmar with us? Gena Elwin is with us. Co-founder of Tada Web in Luxembourg. Gena, we'd love you to say a few words.
Hi everyone. So, I never ever thought I would be here in Europe. I come from 2 small islands on the bottom of the world that people think are part of Australia. I come from New Zealand. I grew up in a place where everything is just fine. I don't have to struggle with some of the heartache of some of my fellow sisters here in Africa, or places where life is really not fair. I come from a place where we are empowered as women to vote. We're the first ones. I come from a place of democracy. But I come from a place where the status quo is okay. Where we're fine where we are. Where the problems of the world don't necessarily have to affect us because we live so far away and we're so lucky. Now, this is fantastic, and I'm very, very privileged to be from such a place. But at the same time, it wasn't until I travelled alone at 17, having never been on an aeroplane, and decided to pack my bags for Europe, that I really discovered, actually, you have to get out and see the world and travel. And it is through travelling that I understood that not everything is like my country. And despite the fact that I'm lucky, it's so important to meet other people and learn and travel and just be an eternal learner. There are times when you have to make a decision, when times are really bad. I've had my fair share of challenges, it's definitely safe to say. And it's not the challenges that are going to make you, it's how you respond to them. And every time there's something that challenges me in my company. At 22, I started a company that's now 30 people, and it's technology, and it's such a different way of thinking. And I've learned whenever there's a challenge, instead of thinking, this is too hard, just think, fuck it. And just do it. So I would really like to thank everything, you especially, and everyone here. It's been one of the most empowering experiences, one of the most amazing conferences I've been to, and I don't feel like I deserve this, but I'm very, very grateful, and I'm going to definitely continue on in my work. And so thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Woman of the Decade in Business and Leadership. Very special.
Dr. Nora Khaldi, Founder and Chief Scientific Officer at Nuritas, is the Woman of the Decade in Business and Leadership. Dr. Nora.
Thank you. Hi. I don't really know where to start. It's my first time coming at this event. I've never been here before. I've never attended such an event before, and I didn't know what to expect. I didn't expect much, to be honest, but I was blown away. I came in today, I was really blown away with the stories I heard, the women I met. Wow, really, I just want to give you all a round of applause. Really, you are truly amazing. Really, really, truly amazing. So I'm really blown away. Thank you again for the award. The mission I started myself with the company is to improve the health of billions of people around the world, with an S, billions. It's not an easy vision. It's not an easy thing to set out to do, but I do believe it, and I gathered a team around me that are just amazing. And together with the team, we are changing and improving the health of billions of people around the world. It's been very hard as a woman coming from a computer science background and mathematical background. It's been really, really hard being in a man's world to carry and push forward such a vision. It was hard, but it taught me a lot. And it taught me to help each other. Instead of, bringing down people, help them come up. And it's been an amazing journey. I've learned a lot. And thank you all, and thank you again for this award. I don't know if I deserve it, but thank you.
I'd like to acknowledge two ladies who already received the Woman of the Decade award in the opening plenary, and some of the leaders of the decade who were men as well. Anton Phillips is with here. He's already received the award. So thank you, sir, for your kind acceptance and your continued spearheading. It's really motivating. Yesterday, one of our standees fell down, and my dear sister Carla, who's here from Haarlem, was trying to fix it, Mr. Phillips saw that and he came up and he was there helping her. We celebrate Shakti Bandhan. It's standing with our divine feminine inner power with each other. And you demonstrated that. It's a picture which is imprinted in my head. And the humility that you bring in, it's really something we learn from. So thank you. I'd like to acknowledge Yasmina Azari, who's also here in this room, who also spoke at the opening plenary. Yasmina is our Woman of the Decade in Business and Leadership. You've heard her story in the plenaries, in the parallel sessions as well, and she was there in the opening. And I believe there's an article coming as well with your story out there. So bravo for that, and thank you for being with us. Moving on to the next set of awards. I'd like to invite my sister Bershan Shaw, executive leadership coach and motivational speaker like you all heard, for iconic women creating a better world for all.
Thank you so much. This is so emotional for me because if I really think back to 10 years ago, when a doctor came into the room and told me I had stage 4 breast cancer, a terminal disease, and I had 3 months to live. I remember the day so clearly. It was like no other day because I was 33 years old. I was in New York City living the time of my life. I was speaking on stages, motivating people. I had owned a restaurant. I was at the pinnacle, at the top of my game. But when someone comes and tells you, a doctor from Mount Sinai, that you have stage 4 breast cancer, your life changes at that moment. And I remember him saying, well, do you believe in miracles? And I just sat there and I looked at him because he was so cold. He just said, do you believe in miracles? Excuse my language. I said, hell yeah, I believe in miracles. And I will be here 10 years later. I made 10 years 2 weeks ago. Yes. Thank you. And I remember leaving that doctor's office, going to the hallway, getting on my knees and praying to God that if you keep me alive, God, I will motivate, inspire, support, serve, uplift women all around the world. And somehow the doors began to open. I began speaking in Africa, in Australia, in New Zealand, in Paris, in Germany, in Switzerland, in Rome, for corporations, people. And it has become my lifelong mission to help women around the world become warriors. Because, right? Because we are warriors, ladies. You know what? They tell us we can't do it. They tell us we're not smart enough. We play small. We don't live up to our dreams. We don't stretch our goals because we stay silent. And I'm here to say, stop staying silent because our time is now. Right? When the doctor told me that I had 3 months to live, I didn't stay silent. What I did is I did the work. I did the research. I started speaking about my story. I started sharing my story. And then women started sharing their stories. And it wasn't just about cancer. It's about the cancer that's holding you back, ladies. It's about the cancer that you're not talking about with your relationship, with your business, with your job and everything. So Dr. Harbeen, this is amazing. Raise your hand and just say, I am a warrior. I am a warrior. Yes, thank you so much.
I now call upon, is she here? Yes. Asia's only female mentalist, Dr. Kruti Parekh, who's come from India, for Iconic Women, Creating a Better World for All. The stage is yours, Kruti. Do what you want to.
Thank you so much, Harbeen. It's been a wonderful experience being here amongst, I think, all the positive people around. I think you all need a big round of applause for yourselves. Please, a big round of applause for yourselves. Well, as a mentalist, I do experiments better than speaking. So I'm going to do that here today with all the kind of positive energy that we all have as speakers here, as awardees, and as mentors here. I'm going to try and work on your minds, influence your minds to come to a kind of destiny that I have predicted here. Okay, so I have a destiny which I'm going to hand to one of you. To the warrior? Oh, I love it. All right. So I need about 3-4 volunteers. Would anybody like to come in? One of them is here. Another one here. And a few more. Yes, one here. Yes. And one more. Or one from the audience?
Yeah, come on.
Audience.
No, it's okay. Come on. Come on. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's okay.
Go ahead.
So now they're all going to read your minds.
You really want me to?
Okay. A simple thing that I'm going to do is I have a random deck of cards with me here. I'm going to just take the jokers out. Okay, just a minute. I'm just going to take the jokers out. So no jokers here, only positive people. We all know where the jokers are. Okay, just cut some cards and take them with you. Just take some small cards, yes. Some for you, some for you, and some for you. Okay? Randomly, 4 people have taken some cards. Now, what we're going to do is, I'm going to influence 4 of the most influential women here in this room today. And I'm going to try and reach the warrior destiny. Okay? So what I want you to do is, I want you to decide who will go first. Them? So we have 2 teams, Team A, Team B. Who would go first? Them or you? Yesterday, I just spoke, the world is becoming more about I and less about we. Oh my God. All right. So if you want to go first, what I want you to do is take any number of cards you want to, like say 2 cards, 3 cards, 4 cards, however you want to, and you will just put it on my hand face down. One of you. Yes, just put it face down like that. Okay, I'm not controlling anything. Everything is in your hands. Now you will decide, you're the leader, you decide either you or her. One of you will take a few cards and put it face up on this. Okay? So who? Yeah? Sukai? Yeah, the we philosophy. You can look at them, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Just take a few and put it face up. Right? Now, your turn. Put some face down. Face down, yes. Some face up. Whoever, anyone, yeah. Oh, yeah.
They can see what I'm doing?
Yes. Making it more difficult for me, but yeah, okay, no problem.
I was thinking and saying, but what about that? And they have done this so many times. I was so happy to hear certain things come from them because it's like, oh my God, yes, I even didn't remember that. So thank you to every single one. Our outreach of... Okay, so see how amazing this is? You can come up here and then you forget certain things, so thank you so much for the reminder. Ajesh Sharma was here at the opening preliminary. And we have the judges from ICC, and I'm so happy that they were able to come and they got connected to us through Ajesh. So thank you so much, Ajesh. And finally, do not move because we have a wonderful performance coming from finally She Spoke. And one thing that I would like to do is that to remind all of you, don't forget everything you learned from the sessions, the energy from everywhere. Oh, another one outreach partner that I forgot also was the Dutch tailors, the amazing people who created this. They were outreach partners for art and so many different things, and just for partnership, and for that I would like to say thank you for you. They also connected us to these amazing video and photographers. Oh, and the musicians, oh my gosh, even though we haven't seen them yet, but they are part of the event. They're playing later. These are the professionals who donated their musical talents to us. You will hear them after finally she spoke. I would like to thank them as well, even though we haven't seen them yet, but thank you so much to her. And Carla amazingly brought them here, so thank you so much. And finally she spoke, and we will take a group picture now, and all of us, when this is done, we will all take a group picture. So all the WEF pictures you see everywhere are after the events, everybody comes up and take a picture. So don't go if you haven't been part of a group picture yet. And I also would like to say thank you to my sister and my cousin for coming all the way from UK and Rome to join, to see and support me. So thank you.
Person that we need to thank here, because we do, of course, have wonderful Harbeen, but who brought this whole concept here? Who stimulated me and all these other ladies here? Who spoke to the Hague, etc.? It was you. Please, Sukai Ceesay. Those gentlemen up there, because they did it with a big smile, all on different microphones. They rescued me twice from death by strangulation with all of these things here. We're perfectly fine with strange ways of dressing, etc. Thank you. Yes, I want to say one last thing. I was woken up by one of you at 2:30 in the morning. I hadn't managed to go to sleep because I was dead to the world after a day up here. But at 2:30, all that inspiration you gave me just exploded out my head, and there was no way I could sleep. Lots of the sessions that I emceed here were about our lack of confidence, knowing that we want to do something, we want to give it back, but why should they listen to me? You know, there are so many other people out there. And I suddenly remembered that there was something that Nelson Mandela had said. So, of course, 2:30 in the morning, as one does, I got out of bed, looked through all my quotations, etc., and I found it. And Mandela said, "Your playing small does not serve the world. Who are you not to be great?" Voilà.
Oké. Ja.
Now what? Yes.
Okay, let's take one picture. Everybody come on stage.
Everybody! Party! Quickly! They're on stairs. It's very
Er is echt zo'n moment.
Maar hier is het hij is pas meer die tand laten zien. Ja, nou op zich, chemistry komt erbij. Lekker in die. Nummers staat erbij, geloof me.
Okay, so what I want you to do is, I want you to decide who will go first. Them? So we have two teams, team A, team B. Who would go first? Them or you? Yesterday I just spoke, the world is becoming more about I and less about we. Oh my God. Alright. So if you want to go first, what I want you to do is take any number of cards you want, like say 2 cards, 3 cards, 4 cards, however you want to, and you will just put it on my hand face down. One of you. Yes, just put it face down, like that. Okay, I'm not controlling anything, everything is in your hands. Now you will decide, you're the leader, you decide either you or her. One of you will take a few cards and put it face up on this. So, yeah, so that, yeah, the we philosophy. You can look at it, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. Just take a few and put it face up. Right, now, your turn, put some face down. Face down, yes. Some face up, whoever or not, anyone, yeah. Making it more difficult for me, but yeah. Some face down. Some face up. Okay, I hope it's going right. Face down. Face up. Yes. Face down. Face up. Yes. Face down. Face up. Face down. Face up. Face down, face up. Randomly, cards picked up, randomly cards put face up, face down, in any order that you want, right? Okay, so now, Sukai, you're going to do this for me. Now, we've randomly worked it out. There was no way I tried to tell you in a very obvious way that I want you to put 4 cards down. I'm saying it in a very obvious way because I was trying to guide them, right? Okay, so is that right? That was a very fair deal? Okay, so now can you please count here for me? How many cards you have face up? Can you count that for me? Yes, from this deck. Just keep the face up the cards here and count them for me. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. That's it. Okay. Wonderful. Just keep the cards on the side. So we've got 22 face-up cards. Hold them with you. Okay? Let's see what I really wanted to influence. Can I have the warrior, please? With my prediction. Yeah. So what is the prediction say? Can you open it once? Yes. And can you tell me what does the prediction say?
Ooh. There will be 22 face-up cards.
Hold on. Because I was working with the best, I wanted to go into detailing. It may be easy to just influence on the upper level, so I wanted to, go on the minute level and see. So what I want you to do is, I want you to count out how many black cards are there. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There are 13 black cards. Can you open it again? So you open it once, and then you open it again. One more, just one more. And what does it say?
Well, okay, so it says red cards, not black cards. Okay. So there will be 9 red cards in all odds.
Alright, so we have 22 cards minus 13. So how many cards do you have with you in your hand? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And all cards are red cards? And all numbered cards? Can you check them again, please, for me? Yeah, my eyes doesn't lie. Oh, what is even? What happened? What is even? Aren't you supposed to be in my team and you're supposed to let them applaud for me? But you know what? When we try to influence people's minds, there is a possibility that we also can go wrong. Isn't that true? Yeah, sometimes things go wrong. Yes, so if she's saying she's the odd one, I work it out for her too. So can you open it as well? And what does it say?
Except a 2 of diamonds!
I can't say thank you. Just a round of applause for you.
I would now like to invite Judith Joan Walker, please. Judith.
Wow, so I'm incredibly honored to be here, especially when I see all these wonderful ladies and all of these wonderful ladies and all of the wonderful men that are here supporting us as well. Yeah, what an honor to be here, what a wonderful event. I've had some fantastic discussions, met some wonderful people, and just to tell you a little bit about who I am. I run African Clean Energy. We manufacture and distribute clean cook stoves and device chargers on solar energy in Lesotho, Uganda, and Cambodia. The reason why this is so important for me to be at events like today is that I think we really underestimate rural women who are my primary customer, and I want to tell you, undoubtedly we underestimate them from our Western perspective, and the things that I see and learn in my target markets, the women that I come across, shows me that women are going to save the world because they are so strong and so brave, and yeah, it's amazing to be in this environment and to be able to share some of that with you as well. Thank you so much for having me.
I now call upon Lauren Kaltenbach, she here? Pascal Journy, Sophie Falk.
So hello, my name is Sophia Falk, and when I was 20 years old, this was not the view that I saw. Instead, I saw 2 more women and the rest was men. Because when I was 20, I entered the military service in Sweden because I wanted to become an undercover agent. And that was kind of a special thing because I did outperform a lot of the guys. And I remember the first time I came in as top 10 on a half marathon. We had 15 kilos on our bodies and a big gun in our hands. And they said, "Oh, Miss Falk is such a lucky girl." And they said that I was lucky even when I scored at the shooting range. And sometime a guy even said when I did score at the academic exams, like, "Oh, well, you ate porridge this morning, I did not." So what I experienced during my first year as an intelligence officer was very special because I stood out. But I still stayed in the military, and then I went into the private sector, and I saw the same thing, that companies, profit-maximizing companies, were not tapping into the full talent potential of the females. Instead, the way they tried to change it was to try to fix the women, help us to talk, with the voice we should have, to shake with the right handshakes, and, walk and talk like the men. Then I got frustrated and fucking angry, so I started my own company. I started my company, The Store Doers, and since 2008 we have been hacking some of the heaviest, largest industries in the world. So we tap into the talent potential of females or anyone. Diversity matters for bottom line. So I'm really honored that I can get this award to highlight that, as someone said, their dreams can be true and we need more warriors just to get out there. Thank you.
Sophia Falk in Sweden. I love it. She's called the most stubborn woman in business. I love it, absolutely. It shows her tenacity and uncompromising nature in doing what she believes in doing. Thank you. I'd like to call upon Wendy Mackey-Jones, please. Wendy is the Executive Director of PWN Professional Women Networking Global. Wendy. thank you very much. Being part of a global network, I know how difficult it is to organise events like this, so real kudos to Harbeen and the team, not only for this event, but the events that you are putting on all around the world. When I saw the list yesterday, my mouth dropped. Incredible. What is important for us in PWN is to really advance gender balance. And to have men in the room as well as women is a really, really important part. Women can have lots of conversations with women and a lot will change. We need to do it together, we need to be inclusive. Inclusive in gender, inclusive in culture, inclusive in all ways. And by doing that we can make a difference. But also by collaborating together. So in PWN, we collaborate with other organisations, and I open the door to collaborate with you guys, to see what we can do together to really make that difference. I'm the proud mum of 3 boys, and I see it as my mission to help those 3 boys to really be gender neutral in their way that they move forward. I went on the march in Amsterdam last week, and my son came with me. At 11 years old, he said, "Mum, this is the most brilliant thing that I've done. Equality is so important, and we need to make sure we keep it going." Is Adina Johanna Valian with us from the European Parliament? Okay. We've just heard an organizational hacker. We have somebody who's deep into cybersecurity now. My sister, Mary Jo DeLew. Mary.
Well, actually, I thought I wanted to shout or scream or dance because of my happiness, but, you know, to see all of your faces, I decided not to do that. So maybe just some words. First, thank you. When I found out that I was a nominee for this award, I cried. And then I was popping out more tears out of my eyes, sorry. In 2013, me and my associate, Anne Vos, we founded the Women's Cybersecurity Foundation to try to be a certain example for other women to choose for the work we do in cybersecurity. We thought maybe we can have like 4 women or get 20, not to know that now, 3 years later, we have 800 women working in cybersecurity all across the world. So actually it's strange to get awarded to do the things I love in life the most. Those things are hacking, investigating things, but also try to irritate members of parliament here in Holland. So 3 weeks ago we did the perfect murder, but it was fictional, so we did it only in the newspaper. But we could if we would, because there are many breaches within e-health in Holland. So by doing this, not only did we hit all newspapers, on every magazine that week in Holland and also Brussels, so I saw something in England, America. We also got the parliament get moving, so there are now questions about how come our hospitals are unsafe. We even got a tool out of the shelves in the stores in Holland, Kayla. It's a tool you can hack and you can record conversations in your home. So we try to just hack, irritate and annoy more people, and if you feel inspired to be one of us, you can join us. It's really an honor. Thank you, really.
I I'd like to call upon a very special sister who's come all the way from Singapore, Sangeeta Nabir.
You know, I'm not saying this because I'm a dramatist, but I'm going to be a little dramatic here. For me, there's life before Harbeen and after Harbeen. I was going through a really bad patch in my life, and then I met her, and she literally gave me so much purpose to my journey of women empowerment that what would have probably fizzled out as just a thought or a status update on Facebook has actually become a movement. And it's called Finally She Spoke, which I think is really important because it's very important for women to speak out. So I do gather stories from women all over the world, and I've been very fortunate to have Harbeen as one of the people who've always encouraged me, and this time Sukai. So after the award-giving ceremony, we will be performing Finally She Spoke for you. It's only going to take an hour, but please do stay back and listen to the compelling and funny stories that we have gathered of women and badass women from all over the world.
I'd like to call upon our sister from Morocco, Fatima Khoumate.
First, I want just to thank all ladies for opening this space for me and for all great women and men, and this space impact for to speak diversity, to speak with others and to speak diversity. And I think it's very important to exchange experience and to learn from each other. I spent more than 27 years working with women and for women, women in political fields and women entrepreneurs, especially bachelors, young women who want to create, who have this idea to create them jobs. And with the goal, of course, to reinforce their skills and to encourage them to integrate this word, I mean entrepreneurship. Then, so I spent many years working with civil society. Then I integrated the university. And every time I asked myself, maybe we should start change from civil society, or maybe from university, maybe from school. But every time, by the end, I understand that the most important is to start to pass to the actions. So with others, of course, not alone. Thank you for this award, and it's a great honor for me. But also thank you for this energy, because what I am doing every day as a teacher and as women activist is to fight against discrimination and to fight for empowerment, for economic empowerment. And we need this positive energy to continue our work and to continue what we are doing. And I think the future will be like we want, like women want. Thank you so much.
I now call upon Ebere Akadili.
I'd like to say thank you to Harbeen. Yes, I was going to say that. I'm also proud to announce that the All Ladies League was first launched in my Ataro's place in my shop. place to be able to launch such an event and to also help people in the Netherlands experience the vibrant cuisine of West Africa. Because 3.5 years ago, I moved here with my family, my husband, and I have 5 children. I've been doing business for 17 years. Back in Nigeria, I had 2 restaurants. I had 56 employees. I mean, their families depended on my business to feed. And together with these employees, we had very large catering operations for all the oil companies, for the state government. We had 2 restaurants, we had 5 sales outlets. And then one day my husband came back and said, oh, my company has transferred me to the Netherlands, we have to move. Initially I said no, I wasn't going anywhere because I had a vision to build 50 more restaurants all over Africa and outside Africa. And then, of course, family members had to intervene. I'm an African woman, so you have to follow your husband. So I followed my husband and I came here. I spent 1 year. Everybody said to me, you're an expert. You're going to be here for 4 years. Expats, women don't do anything, so just enjoy it. Enjoy the money. But a part of me was missing. And because I was becoming depressed, I needed to do something. It wasn't just for the money. I was supporting orphanages. My children, my girls were learning from me. I was inspiring women to think big in business, not just to build a small business, but to build a company and employ people. And that part of me was leaving. I was losing my confidence on who I was. And my husband supported me to start something. And of course, everybody says, so you can't do any business. But what did I learn? Even if you're here for 1 year, let your stay count in this country. Make a difference. And that's what I've done with my business, Ataro Food and Spices. I didn't listen to anybody. I started it. I incorporated it. It's a beverage. And I employ people. And we started teaching people how to cook West African dishes. You know, people were laughing at me. What type of business is that? You're teaching people how to cook jollof rice. I said yes. Today, so many people, thousands of people have tasted jollof rice because of me. I know. So even when I leave, they'll remember me. Also, even when I leave, Ataro Food is here to stay. We're going to employ people to run it even without me. And this is what I teach other women to start a company, not just a business that depends on you. And I also thank you for, Harbeen inspires me. A lot of people tell me, Ebere, you do too much. But look at her. She has events all over the world and she's moving around. And I've told myself, you're not doing too much, I'm going to do more. And I want to inspire more women to set up a business, to set up a company, not just a business. I want to help orphanages, children to gain confidence. My mom died when I was 8 years old, and so I'm very, very passionate about helping children who have lost their mom at one time or the other. And also I want to be able to teach everything that I know how to balance my family, 5 kids, with my business. And I want to tell you, to make sure that because you moved, your dream should not die. Don't let anything be an obstacle to you. Just keep looking at your dream, keep moving forward, keep taking steps. I started with cooking jollof rice. Now I'm packaging spices that we're shipping all over the world. So just take little steps, keep moving forward, and the sky cannot be your limit. Thank you very much.
Our next awardee is Diana Skelton, who's the Deputy Director of the international movement All Together in Dignity, Fourth World, working with women in poverty and providing dignity for all. Diana.
right now is really overflowing with feelings of sisterhood for the people I've met here during these 2 days, but also for many women who are not in this room. So I just want to mention some of them who are inspirations to me. One of them, fittingly, is an entrepreneur of the kind that exists many women around the world in low-income communities, in low-income countries, sell food at the side of the road and don't earn very much money doing it, but hope to earn enough money to buy more ingredients to sell the next day and to feed their families that night. And one of these entrepreneurs in Haiti, the community she works in the capital, Port-au-Prince, is so low income and also so looked down on that the United Nations decreed it a no-go zone for international aid workers more than 10 years ago. So when the earthquake happened in 2010, this meant that international aid did not reach this community where, in addition to all of the loss of life from the earthquake, no one had ways to get food, to get water. And what this woman did was not to, as some people do, profiteer, but to slash her prices, to say, I'm going to now sell food at the side of the road as cheaply as I possibly can because we're starving. A second woman that I want to salute today lives in Guatemala. She lived through the Guatemalan Civil War, and the Civil War has ended, but she sees in her community every day there is violence linked to guns, often gun traffic that comes from my country, the United States. I'm ashamed of that. And she reaches out in a way that grandmothers in communities around the world often dare to do when she hears a young man threatening someone else, perhaps about to commit a violent crime. She will get in his face. She will say, I have known you since you were a little boy. I know your grandmother. Think about what you're doing. And she will challenge him and give him a way to step away without losing face. And there are women like that doing that in so many neighborhoods where life is very dangerous, who we need to salute. I'm thinking also of a woman in the Central African Republic. The civil war there flared up in 2013, and it became very, very difficult for women to go out into the streets to feed their families. A friend of mine needed to go and grind corn because she couldn't feed her family without doing that. But to go and make the journey to where she could grind corn, she had to go through a part of the city where things had gotten tense. And by the time she had ground her corn, there was a crowd of men near her, and she was getting very frightened about walking through that crowd to get home. And at that moment, an older woman, who she did not know, came out and said to her, my sister, I think there's a hole in your bucket, come here. And this older woman sheltered her. These two women, one was Muslim and one was Christian, and they did not know each other. But this reaching out to protect, just instinctively, saved my friend, and it's another thing that women do so often and don't get credit for. And I will just close, I need to say a word about breaking a certain silence. Yesterday here on the plenary, Charlene spoke of silence as what enables predators. And this is true about a real suffering that is happening right now to some women in England. In England, the laws around child protection are designed so that any suspicion that a child is likely to not have a good life in the future means that social services can forcibly remove the child from their parents and have them adopted in a fast-track, closed adoption where the family will never again see that child. And there are women that simply because they need to depend on welfare benefits at the time that they're pregnant, they are suspected of not being about to become good mothers. They are also, quite frankly, from the point of view of statistics, they are about to contribute to raising the level of child poverty in the UK, which doesn't look good. And so very, very often, during her pregnancy and against her will, that child will be legally adopted by a middle-class family. It will be removed from her in the maternity ward after just a few hours. She and her entire extended family and the fathers will never again have a way to even contact that child, and the child at age 18 will not be able to contact the birth family because the records are not kept. And that's a scandal, and there's a complete silence about that. So this strength of sisterhood that we have in this room and in all of the
andere les. Dus ik wil goed slopen me maken, want ik heb een andere les nodig. Snel. Snel. Als we het redden.
And a nice round of applause from those not holding your hand up.
Ja.
That's right. Yes. Thank you very much. There's a really amazing man left. Thank you very much.
Okay.
We're almost finished. Would you please give her final words of thanks?
We would like to thank everybody who has traveled from wherever you came from.
Just a few more minutes.
Just a few more minutes, it's okay. We would like to thank everybody who has traveled to be here. We would like to thank the sisters from all the different chapters of All Ladies League who have been here. We have people coming all the way from India. This is something she does, and it's a grace to have her presence here today. But absolutely important to mention this. The city of Den Haag. I know we have representatives of the city of Den Haag here. Yes, right there. Thank you so much. Without the city of Den Haag, this event would not be possible. We would also like to thank Bayekhoff. They are not here. They did not speak. They wanted to be sponsors and just remain in the background, just supporting us. They also aligned their promotion, I think she's called She Story, during this time of the Women Economic Forum. They highlighted women from different parts of Holland who are doing amazing things in different industries because they get inspired by Women Economic Forum, something that started all the way from where Harbeen has started, and now in the Netherlands, Bayekhoff took that opportunity to march that campaign during this time. So we are very happy that they are sponsors and that they marched this campaign for that time. We would also like to thank AT&T. Absolutely amazing. Monique, I cannot say enough thank you. There's not many words besides just you are amazing, and for helping Women Economic Forum and All Ladies in the Netherlands do such an amazing event here, and for bringing us a lot of wonderful speakers, and this is very, very nice. So thank you. We would also like to thank our outreach partners. We have the American Embassy, we have WEF-EU, and our fabulous MC is the president of and also as an outreach partner is Moi Coffee. I would like to thank Moi Coffee. Other outreach partners are the American Women's Club, American Embassy, Connecting Women, and I would like to bring upstage our organizing committee. These women are awesome. All of the organizing committee, every single one of you, come right up here. This is absolutely
Yes, and there are many more.
And I would like to also bring up Carla. She has two roles in this. Carla is the Netherlands chairperson for diversity, and she's also a outreach partner from her salon. She managed to bring a lot of amazing women. Carla's salon takes care of high-profile clients, VIP clients, to do their hair, and then she was able to get us some speakers here because these are amazing people to be part of this. And she did the bulk with me, and we are here, and this is amazing to have Carla as the chairperson. I would also like to say thank you to Basma for being the project manager of this event. There are other organizing committee people that I believe have gone home, but we could not have done this without you. And also sponsors that I would like to mention. Yesterday evening, we had Canada and India Corner. They brought food from their restaurants, Indian food and Japanese food, the sushi that we had. They also came, and Carla was the one who asked them to bring something to this amazing event. And we would also like to thank our other sponsors. It seems so natural and comfortable, but the World Forum, they are amazing, and I would like to say thank you for them. From the beginning, when we had everything started, they have been here to support us, so for the organizing and also for all the help that they have done and behind the scenes, thank you so much. Yesterday was Emily's birthday. Where's Emily? Yes. She worked graciously, and I had no idea somebody could leave their birthday plans and just help somebody else. So this is the energy. We would like to also thank our gracious photographers and videographers that were taking care of And even though I said World Forum, but I would also like to single out the technicians back there. Our direct relationship with the World Forum was with Astrid and Johanna, and I know they're not in the room because I didn't tell them to be here, but my thanks go to them because sometimes you're doing something and the person